So guys, today we're going to be doing a patch rundown of the new USS event. So to start off, we've got a new UR battleship, New Jersey. She's got high firepower, high anti-air, high HP, high reload, pretty good accuracy and pretty high luck as well, as expected of a UR. Her main gun efficiency is really high as well. For a battleship that has 3 main gun mounts, this is only behind FDG. And I'm using this data mine made by Dim Breath, by the way. I'll link it in the description if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. So I guess I'll be comparing her to FDG. I won't be doing any kind of rigorous math, but just going to be eyeballing it and giving you guys my impression. So far, the barrage numbers look to be stronger than Georgia, right off the bat. And it also procs an extra time after the battle starts. It might be a hot take, but I think she is going to be doing more damage than FDG. I think this is the new best battleship in the game. We'll see in a month or so when people get her leveled, but that's what I'm going to go with for now. She also has some buffs. The dispersion it's not a game changer, but it is there. So she has a support barrage. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so seems like the support barrage also does actual damage and inflicts armor break. So that's probably like the first support barrage we have that actually does something meaningful. And let's also take a look at her first skilled barrage as well. Yeah, so it seems to be aimed with very, very high damage. And then her buff skills. So Eagle Union Flagship, cross fleet, carrier buff. Pretty good. And yeah, I did get confirmation that the support barrage does have the SHS in it. So it does more than just these little normal pellets. Lastly, we have self FP 15%, reload 10%. Okay, so we get a 15% AA buff. USS ships, which isn't that big. But take 5% less damage and BBs gain 10% FP. That's pretty good. So she gets a total of 25% FP and 10% reload. All she needs is one other USS ship. So this could be like your Helena, or if you need AA San Diego. It's pretty easy to satisfy this condition, or you can run her alongside Georgia. That would be really good. So overall, I think this is the strongest BB we have now. Stronger than FDG, doesn't need flagship, also buffs the fleet, and buffs cross fleet. It's pretty broken. Okay, let's go to Ticonderoga. I hope I said that right. Which means 3 fighters, 3 dive bombers, and 2 torp bombers. And the efficiencies are the exact same as SS. Launch extra barrage planes on airstrike. Similar to Lusty Muse, she does a lot of damage against light armor for some reason. While she launches rockets, let's take a look. This look like they're aimed. Yeah, look like they're aimed, that's interesting. But the damage looks like it's lower, and I'm assuming they don't have AoE since they're aimed. But, I mean, it's okay. It doesn't look to be stronger than other plane barrages in general though, so. And you wouldn't really take a carrier to deal with light armor anyway. I'm not too keen on that one, but it's there, it's not too bad. And then this one, 60% damage reduction. Maybe this is good for PvP. Creates a shield that blocks 6 bullets and lasts for 8 seconds. 6 is really low, but if you guys didn't know this, ships like Mains and Talon, they have a skill that spawns a shield, and if the shield is broken, they fire counter barrage. And this counter barrage procs if they get a shield from another source that's not their own. So I'm pretty sure that this shield will proc Mains and Talon's barrage, and it also comes up at a different time from theirs, so you probably don't even have to worry about them stacking. So there's that. It's not gonna change your life, but it is a pretty fun synergy if you want to go and give it a try. And the last skill, 10% aviation, 15% less damage for flagship. It's not that impactful. Maybe it's good for PvP, but I'm not an expert at PvP, so I couldn't tell you. Overall, I think she's alright. Seems kind of fun. She has rockets. She has a shield. Some fun synergy there. Maybe in the future we'll get planes with rockets on the actual plane itself. Alright, next, San Francisco. So, let's see, her health. Okay, she has pretty good luck. Evasion is actually really high for a USS heavy cruiser. Usually they don't have evasion this high. Okay, everything seems about normal for an SSR cruiser. Efficiencies are decent. 10 seconds. She has a barrage every 10 seconds, but if it doesn't proc, she gets accuracy and AA. Well, the AA is not that important because she has low AA anyway, but the accuracy is actually not bad because her base accuracy is a little bit low. Yeah, the barrage doesn't look like it does a lot of damage, but it procs pretty frequently. So, it's there. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Yeah, that's not a lot of damage, but it's nice that it's spammy, I guess. So self-evasion stat and a plus 10%. Okay, if the ship is the lead Vanguard ship, she gets more evasion and 15% damage reduction. So that probably makes her one of the best tanks in the game. Definitely tankier than Portland. Around the same level as Cheshire, I think? Yeah. Maybe even a bit tankier than Cheshire because she has a shit ton of luck over Chesh. And then if she's in the middle, then she heals 10% after 20 seconds. I mean, I guess that's it's niche, but I don't think I would use this most of the time over, let's see, if it's in the rear, then she gets 15% FP, and all Vanguard ships deal 5% more damage. Yeah, I'd probably put her either in the front or the back. If you put her at the front, this is actually really nice because USS didn't actually have a main tank aside from Portland that was really tanky, and Portland has kind of fallen off as more and more OP heavy cruisers have come out. But in the rear, this is also really good. All Vanguard ships deal 5% more damage. Also, since Helena has 50% evasion for the rear Vanguard ship, she's still going to be really tanky in the back. I think this is really good. I think this might actually be the best. She's really tanky and doesn't grief over the Rainbow CA gun like Baltimore, and she does pretty good damage. Also buffs. Can't complain. Alright, next we have Archerfish. Let's see. So she has high oxygen. You can use bitter without snorkel on her. Wow, she has really strong buffs for other USS subs. So yeah, you run her alongside Albacore and Kavala. I'm pretty sure that they should be on par with Wolfpack, maybe even better. Look at that luck. Jeez. Yeah, she's really strong. That's like a legit subfleet. Okay. Not much else to say, you just run them together and get the nice buffs. Yeah. Okay. USS Boise. Boise, I think. Or Boise. Boise? I'm not sure. Anyway, let's take a look. Okay, pretty normal for a gun CL. But 15 seconds. She fires a barrage. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, it doesn't do much damage, but it's really spammy. She deals more damage against heavy armor, which is not a lot considering she's a gun CL, so that's not too helpful. But the crit rate is pretty nice. She also gets 15% FP. The AA is like nothing because she has really bad efficiency, so I wouldn't worry about that much. And then if she's below 45%, oh, this is only above 45%. Okay, so if she does get low, she loses a bit of damage. Self-burn damage taken reduced by 15%. Usually that's probably not that useful. And then she has a zombie heal, but the value is relatively low. Still, she has pretty decent luck and evasion, so she should be surviving just fine, especially if you bring her in the mob fleet. Let's see her all assault. Okay, wait, it's just Brooklyn class. Whoops. Yeah, we know what that looks like. Overall, I think she's actually comparable to Chapayev. I think Chapayev also has self-crit rate, a timed barrage, and even the stats and everything. Let's pull her up. Okay, yeah, so firepower within 7 of each other, efficiencies, 10% more on the Ox gun only, and then Chapayev is a little bit tankier on the base stats, but she also doesn't have a zombie skill, so... Okay, this one is a 70% chance to fire special barrage, but this one's guaranteed, so... Yeah. Crit rate by 15%. Okay. Yeah, so Chapayev is anti-DD. She's got a similar crit rate buff, but dealing more damage against heavy armor is not going to help her much. But she does get 15% AA. So her damage, aside from fighting against destroyers, maybe even higher than Chapayev, provided you can keep her HP above 45%. So pretty solid light cruiser there. And then USS Morrison, she's a Fletcher. Stats or whatever, HP is decent, firepower is really bad, torpedoes pretty bad, efficiencies are pretty bad. And then, let's see, she gets some self buffs and buffs the entire fleet's anti-submarine warfare. Yeah, well, I mean, this is one of those ships that if you like her, you could use her, but she's not gonna change much, probably. Okay, moving on, we have Little Enterprise. All her stats are worse than the original. And it seems like... So, okay. 1 out of 3 chance to trigger one of these 3 effects. You don't really want the evade damage one. And the slow one is like, whatever. If you bring her for the slow, and it only procs a third of the time, it's not that useful in my opinion. So overall, she's pretty bad, I think. Unfortunately. Okay. Lastly, we have the Independence Retrofit. From here, it looks like she just got a minor stats bump, but this is actually not the whole picture. And I will pull her up in game to show you guys what else she got, aside from just these stats buffs. But let's go take a look at the new gun first. So, turns out that the MK7 is actually a HE gun, so it's going to be replacing your MK6 or your 381s. Hopefully you didn't upgrade your 381 to plus 13 already, which I didn't. I went with the JB gun, the quad 380, because I really like John Bart, but this is gonna be the best HE gun. I'll be looking to plus 13 it. And yeah, let's see. So she gets Casablanca skills, supporting wings. So she gets a cross fleet buff, as well as minus 25% on the first airstrike, which is always nice. Her reload is extremely high. And yeah, and she also gets a upgraded skill too, but we don't really know what that is right now, I think. Alright, let me switch to the game. So, aside from her stats buffs, she also got a buff to her efficiencies. So let me just put another plane. So her fighter efficiency went up by 15%, and her torpedo bomber efficiency went up by 5%, which means she now has 4, and she also got 1 extra plane in both the slots. Yeah. It didn't say on the data mine, but she has 4 fighters now, and 4 torpedo bombers as well. Usually you'd probably use her with a USS plane, so something like this. So now she has 160% fighter efficiency thanks to her skill, which makes this the single strongest fighter slot. Some ships like Illustrious have 2 fighter slots, so 6 fighters in total, but slot for slot, this one's definitely stronger than Illustrious, and she also has one of the strongest torpedo bomber slots, tied with Shokaku. 4 TBs at 150%, which is really strong. You don't even have to use a USS plane to, and she's still going to be strong. So she has 4 fighters and 4 TBs, and she also has an AA gun, so she's going to be one of the best carriers for anti-air, and her damage is pretty solid as well. As you can see, her air power is still not that high, but she has the same loadout as Centaur now, essentially, and her efficiencies are much higher. She has a barrage. She also has a cross fleet buff. And when you think of Centaur, you think of really good AA, really high damage, and also the buff on her airstrike, which Casablanca also kind of has here with new buff skill, except it's actually permanent. Like, you don't have to time anything. Carriers are just permanently buffed by the skill by 12%, and it buffs reload as well, which is really nice. Not to mention the cross fleet buffing. So yeah, overall, I think this is a really strong ship. I don't know if she does more damage than Centaur, but she certainly buffs reload, which Centaur doesn't provide. And she has better AA for sure. No question about that. Yeah, so switching back. Overall, I think this is a great patch. All the ships, minus these two, Morrison and Little Enterprise, are pretty good. The highlights of this event being New Jersey, the best battleship in the game, and also a very good buffer for USS. San Francisco, one of, if not the best USS heavy cruiser. A really good tank, as well as a pretty good buffer. Archerfish, which is the best submarine of the USS, with significant buffs for the other two very strong USS submarines that are now able to form a fleet capable of competing with the Wolfpack. And also Independence Retrofit, which, similar to the other three gold light carriers in the game, is very, very strong and provides a ton of utility. Alright, that's going to be it for this event's rundown. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my assessments of the new ships, if there was anything I missed, and if you want me to continue making these types of videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.